Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I have an amazing video, super short compared to what I normally do. I had to throw this together so quick today, man, because I got to get this out and have a few days for it to be digested by people and also get out there. And please share this. I beg you, please share this. Wait till you see this stuff. I cannot believe what I have, what the Lord's been showing me. He woke me up a couple times at night, and he's telling me more stuff. I had this crazy dream with him, confirming and smiling at me that this time is right. Man, I can't even get into some of that personal stuff right now. Maybe I will in my part two of this. I don't know. But I've got to get this. He really wanted me to make some of these points. So I'm going to make a supreme point with the red heifer. Okay. That's my biggest thing right now, and a few other things to support that, okay? But man, I have so much stuff right now, and things that actually happened in my last timeline. This has happened. These things have happened so many times, over hundreds of times in the last 6 years since I've been doing this. Symbolic, and I've even predicted the exact events, but hundreds of symbolic events on these exact days. So let me get into this here, okay? So just today, not that long ago, these jackwagons declared a this and this, okay? I'm just going to say it that way. I'm going to put Zuls in front of things sometimes. Anyway, global Zuls, emergencies, okay? Right here on the 14th. Now, before that, this monk Easels Poxels, okay, that was going on. I in my last time I look at my last few videos, I said it would be greatly enlarged or even be an emergency. Okay, I predicted it. Okay, and it's just off a few days because of the way they wanted to bring it out, because it's going to actually fit this timeline. But anyway, so this man, because it's all over, because Stinky Bo, the 44th Pres, Obama, he basically equals monkey. He equals, I'm gonna show you how he equals Mpoxels in just a second here. But this was on the 14th and happened. There was an emergency declared by the CDCs in Africa yesterday, the 13th. So you have 13th, 14th. 1 plus 3 is 4, the fourth day. 14th, 1 plus 4 is 5, the fifth day. 4th and 5th, zombie day. I've said this so many times, 4th and 5th day. But the real zombie days are going to be the 22nd and 23rd, according to this timeline. Again, I'm speculating the best I can by what I've been given by the Lord and what the numbers and the numerology of that side, the evil demons that move in these Kabbalists, that are all over media and everything, that put all these messages out, and people that run these guys, okay, and all this. And then there's a good numerology, which is biblical numerology. It just studies the numbers that are in the Bible, and I'm going to get into a little bit of that as well in this video. So let's just keep going. So that happened. Also, I want to mention here that also in my last timeline, I've said in my time for a long time, that the second and third day, which is basically the 11th and 12th, was the 11th and 12th, which is 1 plus 1 is 2, and 11, and then 12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. The numerology came forward on the nuclearsals, power plantsals, and Ukrainesals. Okay, and I said, and my timeline is going to be a nuxels that goes off in Ukrainesals. Okay, that's just the way, and that literally hit 100% as far as a symbolic event. This power plant was lit on fire, or whatever really happened. Who the heck knows? What they say is what they say, and what they do is another thing. But that's perfect programming for this. Predictive program for what's coming with the actual nuxels that's going to go off in Ukraine's on the 11/12th day, basically. So 12th day, sorry, the second and third day, basically the third day, basically. Okay, so let's just keep going. So this guy's talking about this right here, and that just happens to equal this nugget right here, who's the I call Antichrist and Obama. Okay, so basically, yeah. So, and then the Lord recently showed me how all these things in July, and this is an iPad Goat. You have the buck moon, a buck coming out of the figure that looks like his head is a moon. And I've showed that so many times. Again, I could throw all this on here, but he showed me how he said to put this upside down and backwards, and right there you see a buck, and then it's in a moon. This right around here is a moon. Buck with the horns and the ear, and it's a buck deer, and then a moon. A buck can also be a rabbit. So that's also an Prophetic as well. And that's why you see things with rabbits and all over the place, and the white rabbit, the Easter bunny. I mean, all this kind of stuff. It's all about the buck moon. Okay, so then from the buck moon in July 21st, you have 28 days later. The zombie plague starts. It's crazy, and that's so the buck moon's on July 21st. Then 28 days later, hey, I want to do a quick shout out to my brother Constantine. Brother, I just thank you so much. We've been working together doing this amazing synergy back and forth, and so he deserves a lot of credit for things that we've done, things I'm mentioning, things I'm sharing at different places. He's done a lot of work as well, so I want to just say thank you so much, brother. You have been awesome, and it's just nice to have someone who really understands this stuff and really goes with you and doesn't fight you on every little thing, and then but also it just really supports you and really adds to and brings a whole nother dimension to things you hadn't even thought about, and it sends me in a different dimension, different directions, and all kinds of crazy stuff. So you're awesome, brother. I know you don't like to get a lot of mention, but I can't help it. You're just so awesome. So 28 days later, so again, the red eyes of the bull. Do you see this? This is the bull. In fact, there's 3 bull's heads right here, and there's an eclipse. This is the year of the eclipse. It's also a full moon as well. That happened in July. This is so much here. I can't get into all this. The red eyes of Taurus. The red eyes of the bull right here. That was in July as well. And they were looking forward to that because, for example, this was a couple years ago in Birmingham in the UK. There was this big, these games that were going on. They're worshiping the red-eyed bull. This is what's coming, and now it's here. It just happened in July. The red-eyed bull, like I'm showing you right here, the red eyes, or the red eyes or the red bull. Okay, the red bull. So you have the red bull, and what's opposite? That's the evil, that's the bad side, and then God's red heifer. But they're using this for bad as well, okay, because this is literally in English to what it is in original Hebrew, okay, and in English it's literally telling you when they're going to do this, and the Lord has helped me decipher it, I believe. So watch this. So like this was in my thumbnail, and red heifer literally in gematria is a mirror date with 24 in the middle, 8/19 the first day. Again, 1 + 9 is 10, and take away the 0, that's the first day, and then 8/19 backwards. Well, this is not showing it backwards, but I'm just showing it in a sense backwards. 8 and then 19 and then 24 backwards, like that. But in a way, you're going to see how this works. I'm going to get into that in just a second here. But here, this is what I've been talking about. It didn't happen on the 9th, okay, but it did happen on the 6th, a few days earlier, because it's forecasting the 9th, which is really the 18th, and I'll show you this in a second. Israelis practice, and this is weird because it's actually spelled wrong. Sometimes they spell things differently for the gematria to work perfectly. So that's not or maybe that's just the way the translation worked. I don't know, but it literally is what exactly I'm talking about. So Israelis practice red heifer ritual in front of Al-Aqsa Mosque. Okay, now watch this. So that was on the 6th of August. Okay, so that's 6/8. Again, we know who 6/8 is, right? Again, there it is. And then so 6/8 is upside down and backwards. Again, they everything to do like I shared on my last video. I've done it a lot of times on my videos where I share some some baseline things that they believe and things that they teach, like the rule of Kalel, the law of nines, things like that. And one of the things is up, backwards, upside down and backwards, opposites that they do, black and white, good and evil, black and white, all this kind of stuff, all the opposites. So this is upside down and backwards, 8/9, or so it didn't happen on 8/9, but this is forecasting 8, and then 9 is made up of 1 and 8, so it's 8/18. And then again, that made me think of when I really started realizing this stuff, and the Lord's giving me these crazy insights. The Lord Jesus himself, who I know as a personal friend and my master and my Lord, who I serve 100% as best I can. Yeah, as best I can. Yeah, it's been challenging for these 6 years. Especially when you get thousands of people say, "Oh, false prophet," which I've never prophesied one thing about any time frame ever. I just said I'm guessing. This could be it. This might be it. Oh, false prophet, you say. I mean, just like demon just coming out of people, like every left, right. Oh, I gotta mention this. This guy recently on one of my last videos, he goes, "Oh yeah, I don't want to be. What do you call that? I don't want to be. What do you call a hater?" He said. "Oh, I'm not calling you out, dude. There's so many I could call out. I mean, I've literally gotten death threats and things like that. Believe it or not. this hater that, oh, I don't want to be call you, I don't want to be a hater, but you just took your last timeline and just changed the numbers or moved them forward or whatever. Yeah, that's what I did. I did that. Yeah. No, I did it because it made sense. You'd understand how numerology works. This equals this. And I don't know if it's this or this. So it looked like a lot of things lined up for this, and they did. Different things happened. Israel got the Ayatollah basically threatened Israel and said they were going to attack you. That all happened in my timeline from the pre-day, and everything else. It all certain things happened. Again, that's another thing that happened. And then we're waiting for possibly 9th of Av, but it didn't happen. Okay, and I mean on the Jewish calendar, the Jewish calendar they go by over there, the completely false Jewish calendar over there, but whatever. So that stuff is, so watch this. So, okay, I thought about this right here, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, this would make sense. I knew about this timeline from the Revelation 12 sign. Okay, then you add 7 prophetic years, because in the book of Revelation, the Revelation 12 sign is based on Revelation 12, of course. The depiction of the woman clothed in the sun, moon underneath her feet, 12 stars above her head, all that stuff, right? And then, but in the book of Revelation, there's about 8 different references to a prophetic year, which is a 360-day year. It's 12 30-day periods, okay? And that's just in the book of Revelation. So, of course, you'd have a 7-year period be 7 360-day units, basically. So, or a year would be 360 days. So 7 years of 360 days is 2520. Okay, and that's also all over the Bible. Okay, and then so you go to the 17th. Now that's 7 good years still. I mean, yes, they've been crazy and inflation, all this stuff, but relative to the next 7 years, it's nothing. I mean, if you think about it, like this is all from the Old Testament. It's the Old Testament kind of repackaged and put out there. The Old Testament, the New Testament concealed, and the Old Testament is the New Testament is the Old Testament revealed. Okay, so these things are all types that are coming later, and I'm going to show a few of those. So the 7 years of plenty, in a sense. I mean, even think about back then when you had the 7 years of plenty, they still had hardships. Nothing was perfect. I mean, but when you had the 7 years of famine, that was hard. That was hard. So this 7 years of famine is about to start. So you go to the 17th, 7 years of plenty, and then bam, right to the 18th. Starts the 7 years right after the sacrifice, 18th/19th, okay, is going to be 7 years of hell like no one's ever seen. Starting with the first 14 days with a pre-day and a post-day, is going to be insane. And again, that's been proven out. That's what this is right here. Okay, again, 18th, 19th, and like I said, watch my last video if you haven't. It literally, I spell out a lot of these things that are going to happen. And also look at my timeline pinned to the top of comments on this video. My latest updated one on this video be pinned to the top of comments. Okay, so you'll see the exact events, including the possible decils of Biden time replaced by Harris. And I already said years ago that Biden would be replaced by Harris, and she has been, essentially. Okay, but I think it actually might still happen. He could die, and that's what President Ford said back in the 80s. He said that, a female would come because, the male president would die and she was the vice president, she'd become the president. That's the way it would be. Basically, because he was a Freemason. So this first day, pre-day and first day, are that and many other things. Look at my timeline pinned to the top of comments on this video, okay? My updated timeline, including the sacrifice of the red heifer, I'm saying, okay? And I'm going to share with you why. This is phenomenal, the Lord showed me. Oh, man. And then we have these different days of this whole timeline. I'm going to get into right now, going all the way to the end here, and I'm going to show you this. But watch this. So it's August and September. August on the Roman calendar is the 6th and the 8th month, like I shared in my last video, and that is 68. And believe this or not, I couldn't believe the Lord showed me this morning. And it's going through September 1st and 2nd. And 2nd, I'll show you what September 2nd is really. And September is the 7th on the Roman calendar and the 9th on the Gregorian, because Septem really equals 7, okay? That's Latin. August is really equaling 6th, but it doesn't mean that name, but the September really does. Octo really means 8, but we call it 10, and so on up to December. Okay, and so look, 6, 8, and then watch this. That name, and then 7, 9 is what? Oh my gosh. like Luke 10:18, I see Satan as lightning falling from heaven. Lightning from heaven in Aramaic Hebrew is Barak Ubama. So we have the month of 6 and 8, now month of 6 and 8 going to the month of 7 and 9, 7 and 9, and they're both sound the same. Barack Obama, Barack Obama. I mean, are you kidding me? This is incredible. Hopefully you see what, wow, hopefully you understand what this is. This is amazing, okay? And then, so again, 9/1, the last 2 days when the nukes go off in 23 cities in the United States, and Mystery Babylon, the U.S. is gone. Done. Over. Finito. Bye-bye. Okay, and that's on 9, and then what's 2? It's a compressed number of 1 and 1. So it's really this. Okay, that's the real one. This is the destruction of Babylon and the birth of the Antichristos. Okay, right there. Bam, I'm telling you, this is crazy. And that day just happens to be, September 2nd, just happens to be Labor Day, as in really not this Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Look, yeah, that Labor Day, because it's a birth. Hello, McFly. Okay, anyway, so from September 9th, which is a birth, a symbolic birth, and then 14 days later, I make the Revelation 12 sign, from a symbolic birth of Jupiter exiting Virgo, bounced around in here for 9 prophetic months and 23 days, 923. Oh, what a shock. 923 is also the day of the Revelation 12 sign. Bounced around for 9 months, prophetic months, 9 30-day periods, and 23 days. Boom, bounce around here. Or 293 days, which is 9 in the middle of 23. Yeah, right. That's just a coincidence. Bounced around here and then went out between her legs. That's a coincidence. It went in here, bounced around in here for roughly close to the amount, the time of a child would be in there, a baby would be in there, and it popped out between the legs. Whatever you call it, I can't think of the names. Anyway, so and then come out between the legs here. That is incredible. There's no way. And that was September 9th. So from September 9th, when Jupiter actually literally crossed the plane of these two stars here, went out of her body in a sense, okay, it's symbolic, of course, to September 2nd, okay, when I'm saying nukes will go off in the United States, and the balance of the bride, the first faithful will be taken away on the 29th of August, on the 11th day, 11/12th day. But the balance of the bride, including the Church of Smyrna, who will be here for 10 days, from the first attack day to the last day, they'll take off with the balance of the bride on this day, and then that will be the balance of the bride going up into heaven, and that will be the man-child birthed into heaven, while the stinky BO and his false prophet, the Pope, the 266 Pope, which 266th day of the year was 923. I mean, crazy. Anyway, there's so much I could say. Is 2,550 days. What is that? What is that? Now, that's in the Bible. That's in Daniel, and it's also in Revelation, sections of this. Okay, so for example, I pulled this from something that to kind of explain it. So you take the 260 days and the 290 days and add them together, and you get 2,550 days. As all prophecy experts know, this is not referring to days only, which would be about 7 years. So seven of our Gregorian years is 2557. Okay, that is crazy. Okay, by the way, that's 21st of July. Anyway. It's so much. Anyway, 7 years roughly, but also a period of time in years. So Daniel is making a prophecy of something that will happen 200. I can't even talk. Sorry. 2,550 years in the future. But when did the countdown begin? Well, that's a good question, and I have a theory about that, but I'm not getting into it right now. And it literally takes us all the way from when to 2024, and I'm not getting into that right now because it's too much to explain. But you get the idea where 2550 comes from, or 2,550 days. Now again, 818, okay? Now we're going to, so I'm not getting into this right now, but I'm going to go back to this, okay? Anyway, over to this. So let's go look at this here. So remember, this is 818. This is forecasting 818. Now look at this title here. Now we're going to go look at it in gematria, okay? So this is the whole thing, but it cuts off here a little bit, but this is the whole thing plugged in here. So watch, boom, first thing, 804. This is how most of us say it. Most of us don't say 804. We say 804 because they want you to, they're secretly telling you this is an O. 804 is 8. O is the 15th letter of the alphabet, and 4. What is that? 8, 15 plus 4 is 8, 19, right there. 18th and 19th. And there's more evidence. Boom, right here. O is 15. O is 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. 1 plus 5 is 6. That's 666. So on 18/9 is the birth of the Antichrist, 666. There's so much in all this. And then we have these dates, 31st of August, which is in my timeline, but it's a date that's, I don't really share. It's something it's in Israel, but I'm not going to get into that. And then this is here. This is when Nuxels goes off in Manhattans, and Trumple is eliminated, okay, 25th of August. And that's right here as well, because this all happens as a result of this happening first. Way back right here, 819. Oh, actually, oops, I forgot to change that. It's 819 or 815 plus 4. I had to change right here, but I didn't change right here. Anyway, so it's on 819, but it goes to 25th of August is when this, because of all this, down the road it happens, and then Ranzels takes responsibility for that. The not only the death of Trumple, but also of CQBO, the 45th president, and I think he will kick the bucket or be killed in Hawaii, but that really won't. Anyway, wow, I'm trying to get to it here. And then right here, this title right here, this subhead of basically, some religious groups believe that the ashes of the cows can be used to build a third Jewish temple in Jerusalem. This whole thing right here just happens to be 819. And then there's the pre-day and the first day, and this happens to be 819. Not only that, if you take this whole thing again, and this is reverse English Sumerian. English Sumerian is regular English times 6. Okay, now we're going to go to English Sumerian of this. This is a reverse English Sumerian. We go to English Sumerian, and look, we have 666 again. So this guy on 819 birth, and he's 666. Or it's also 6, and that's 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. That's 6666, which is 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 is what? 24. So we have 819. Is this subhead basically backwards in English Sumerian, and then forward. So forward it's 24. 6 plus 6 plus 6, or it's the birth of 666 on 819, or 81924. It's crazy. The exact day and year. Okay, now let's keep going here. This is wow. Okay, I'm just so excited. I'm sorry if I'm not talking great and everything, and I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but I'm so excited, and I just want to get this out before, just as soon as possible, basically, so people see this, and many people can share this as much as possible and see this. So this is incredible, what the Lord showed me about this, to make my point. And I have so much more information, so much more timelines and stuff to prove all this that I've even shown you, and I got a few more at the end of this. But this is so incredible. Okay, so in Gematria, in simple Gematria, red heifer is R is 18, E is 5, D is 4, H is 8, E is 5, I is 9, F is 6, E is 5, R is 18. Okay, this is a mirror date, and I've shared these many times in the past, and I found some incredible ones. This is one of my most incredible ones the Lord's led me to. Watch this. So we're going to just take this 8 and 1. We're just going to switch it, because remember, backwards, upside down is backwards, so backwards. You put anything backwards, we're going to compress these two together. 5 and 4 is 9. So we're all the way already. Red is 819. Did you know, you probably didn't realize, most people didn't realize, that red has been made red up for this day and time. This day and time, 819 coming. For blood, for red, it's crazy. It is English. I'm telling you, the Lord showed me this stuff, and it's mind-blowing when he tells me something that most people don't know or nobody knows. And he's told me that. He says stuff to me like, sometimes nobody knows this, or very few people know this, or whatever. I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, what the heck? Why are you... So this word was made for this time coming. And then, so is this word, okay, in English. Now watch this, okay? Now we're going to take... I'm just going to make these ones white, and these one here, these numbers, these ones, yeah, these ones, these white, and then these yellow. So we got the 9, drop that down, 18, drop that down. Now, again, we could switch. We could make this 85, 9, and 65, and 18, because any numbers you put side by side, you can make anything you want. That's how they do this. So let's just switch 9 and 65, and then we just have a 9 and 18 over here. So we just put that, and then we put this 6 and 5 over here, but whatever. So 8 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5. So 8 plus 5 is 13, plus 6 is 19, plus 5 is 24. Boom, we put that right there. I just straighten this up a little bit right over here. And then so that's 8 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5 is 24. Then 9 right here, 18 right here. You're just switching this 65. We're making this a 65. We're switching this 9, put it over here, and make the 65 over here. And then we're separating these into separate 8, 5, 6, and 5. Boom. That's how they do this. They can, anything side by side, you just have to take the value of it and you can put them together. You can add them, you can move them, you can switch them. This is how this works. Okay, so now watch this. Boom. 819 24 and 819 backwards and then 24. It is a mirror date of the day they're going to, and I've already shown you in Gematria how this works in that article in a few different ways. And I've been saying this for a while, and I thought I was seeing all these 8 ones or 8, 1 plus 9 is 10. That's what I thought was 8 1 because they were the 0. But it's actually 819 and 819 is 19. And it took me to see that 8-1 didn't work and 8-10 didn't work. So then, okay, 8-19. And then now that I look at all the timelines, I'm like, oh my gosh, they fit perfectly, even better than they did before. And the Lord's confirming it for me in so many ways. I can't believe it. Okay, boom. Okay, so right here, and then here, let me give you another timeline that's off the charts I've been looking for years. And it's right in front of my face. You just put it right in my lap, among many other things I can't even get into right now because I just want to make this as short as I can. So the conception right here. So we already talked about how Jupiter exited Virgo after bouncing around in here, but Jupiter entered Virgo, the conception, the symbolic conception, on the 20th of November 2016. That was, boom, 20th November 2016, to the actual birth of the faithful on the 11th day. Satan is kicked out of heaven on the 11th/12th day, which is the 29th/30th. Okay, and then when that happens, he's no longer the prince of the power of the air and on the earth. Then boom, the faithful, the man child is taken up. The most faithful is taken up to heaven, and then there's a few more days, and then the balance of the bride are taken up on the last day, the first of September and the 2nd of September, and the 2nd of September is September, and then 2 is 1 and 1. Remember? Okay, but that is 7 years, 7 months, and 7 weeks. So 3 sevens, and 7 plus 7 plus 7 days. This is beautiful. This is perfect. So the conception takes you to the actual birth of the faithful 7 years, 7 months, 7 weeks later, and 7 plus 7 plus 7 days. It is incredible. This is so perfectly beautiful. It's amazing. Okay, and then also, what's crazy about 829 that I've known for 9 years exactly? Well, 829 in 2015, I've shared this on a couple videos in the past. I had a dream. My wife and I and my daughter at the time, that was a few years old, were homeless. The Lord was telling us all this stuff. We were basically told that we had to leave where we were renting because this couple was divorcing. They're a Christian couple, been married for years, older couple. They were divorcing. It was crazy. We were totally thrown off by the whole thing. But then we were homeless for like months and months, and then we were in a hotel. The Lord was providing all kinds of crazy stuff, people giving us money, all this weird stuff coming out of nowhere. We've had this happen at different times. It was insane. We were just completely following the Lord. I literally had a job right before that, and I was falsely accused of doing stuff I never did, and then I basically was fired, and then I wasn't going to do anything with the state or anything as far as like getting workman's comp or whatever. And the Lord just said, I want you to do it because I want you to be vindicated. And I was like, I didn't want a government stuff or whatever. I just want to trust you because I want you to do this. So I literally went to the state and shared with them the details about my work and everything. And they investigated, and they came back and they said, we're going to give you workman's comp because we investigated, and literally they were in the wrong. They shouldn't have fired you. There's no evidence there was no evidence of what you said, and you already proved that you were evident of the last time they fired you, because there's people that I work with that hated what I did. I literally got people free from the devil and got them out of addictions, and I was working with them, and they were totally changing. And then some of these other managers were like, you can't do that. These are my buddies. We drink with these guys and all this stuff, and they hated me. It was insane. What I've been through for the Lord is just, I could write several books. It's crazy. And so then they're like, oh, whatever. And then so I got it for a short time, and then the Lord provided, but I didn't have it for this time. For a certain amount of time, I was getting, we were homeless for a certain amount of time. We didn't have anything because it took a while for us to get something. Then we had something. It was a portion, a percentage of what, which was nothing. But then we didn't have a place to live, even still. But up to this date right here, we were literally staying in somebody else's home that we were house sitting while they were on vacation, friends of ours. And literally, I had this dream. I'm going to just share it right now. I wasn't going to share the details of it really, but I've shared it in the past. So I had this details, and this is the only time I got a dream with an exact date, an exact time, and everything. It was just crazy. And so that's why now I'm sharing it now. I can't believe it when it's exactly 9 years later. It's crazy. I'm sorry. It's crazy. Lord is so good. Anyway, I'm sorry. I can't believe it. I'm getting goosebumps. And so anyway, I had this dream, right? And before I had the dream that night, so my daughter, who was a few years old, I guess she was like 3 or 4. She was like, we found, they had games. They had kind of a game wall or whatever, and they had different games and stuff. And she pulled out the game Trouble. And I don't know if you're familiar with it at all. It's a little game, and it has a little bubble that pops a die inside, and you pop it, and then you go around this board. It's called Trouble. And then we played it a few times, and then we went to bed. And well, that night I had a dream, and here's my daughter in this dream, and she has that same game Trouble, and she goes, "Daddy," within a tiny little voice. She said, "Daddy, do you want to play? Do you want to play America's in Trouble?" And she had this little voice. And I went to God's voice, and I'm like, "Lord," and he said, "Yes." And I go, I couldn't. He said, "Do you want to play?" He goes, "Do you want to play America's in Trouble?" And I go, "What are you telling me?" He goes, "Pop the die." And so I popped it, and it was a 2. He says, "Pop it again." And this is God talking to my daughter in a dream. "Pop it again." And I popped it, and it was a 5. And he said, "Okay, stop." And then I said 25. And I just had this understanding that America's in trouble in 25 years. He said, "No." I said 25 months. He said, "No." 25 days. I don't know. I didn't say weeks. I just said days. And he said, "Yes, America's in trouble in 25 days. And I'm like, "What the heck?" And and we were homeless at the time and everything. And I thought, there was all kinds of stuff going on with the blood moons. There was a tetrad blood moon going on that year, and it was going to be happening at some point here in September, the last one. And then I'm like, "What's going on? What are you showing me?" Because he started showing me stuff about blood moons, and there's stuff going on in the heavens and a clock and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, "What?" Anyway, so I got up immediately and I looked at a calendar, and I counted it from August 29th, and I counted 25 days. 2 days to end the August to 31st, and then 23 days more in September, and it was 9/23/2015. I'm like, "What is that? What could that be?" I have no idea. I had no idea what was going on, or anything like that. And then I'm doing all this research, still doing research while we're still homeless and all this stuff, and learning about what he's showing me and everything. And and that was what I was doing. That was my full-time job. You tell me don't work, I want you to just learn and research, and let me show you what you need to know. And then about a week later, I think it was, or less, I found that the Stinky BO, the 44th Pres, No Obama, and the Pope were meeting together, and Pope was going to address Congress and all that, and they were meeting on 9/23/2015, and that was the exact date. And I said, they're going to meet, and that's the end of that's America's in trouble. And then, so I didn't realize that he was showing me that's the beginning of it. And then I showed in a video years later that they got married as the Antichrist and the false prophet. And I have that in a video. Watch one of my last couple of videos, 2 videos ago, I think. At the end, I show these crazy numbers that put them together, attach them incredibly, and then they married each other, basically. And then, so 9 years later, which is what? The number 9 is the biblical number for birthing, finality, and judgment. 9 years later, from that day, he showed me that. So he said basically from that day, and then again from that day, or from this day, he showed me that would be 9 years later for judgment. And this is the day of the tsunamis that hit both coasts. And then a few days later, nukes go off in 23 cities. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it at that here. I'm going to go leave it at that. And this wasn't, I didn't expect it to be this long, but I had to share this. I'm just moved by the Lord to share and just be honest and be as transparent as I can be and what He's showing me and everything. So, and I want to please, first of all, I want to thank everybody who's ever given to me this whole time. You're finally, it's finally paying off. The ones who stuck around, God bless you. First of all, God bless you. God bless you for being in my corner when a lot of people were not. Thousands of people called me all kinds of names, and at times they're really hurt. Thankfully, I can shake this stuff off with the Lord's help, especially. And I've had some really doozies the last few months. But thank you. This is going to pay off. People that call me a date setter and all that kind of stuff. The Lord is going to shut your mouth, and you're going to eat every bit of those bitter words that you've thrown out to me. That's what He said to me recently. He told me to tell that to somebody, that you're going to eat. He's literally said that you're going to eat all those bitter words that you've thrown out to me. You're going to eat them, and that's it. And I asked the good Lord to forgive you. God forgive you. Lord Jesus forgive you. All of you that have ever said those things. Not only they've heard, but I forgive you. I forgive you. Okay, but they've hurt. They definitely hurt, and this stuff is hard enough to add insult to injury. Now I know what that means, to add insult to injury. It's crazy. So anyway, moving on. So I want to thank everybody who's ever given, prayed for me, my family. Oh man, God bless you. God bless you. A thousand thanks. A thousand thanks. I always say this to anybody who's ever did anything positive for me. I always pray that God would bless you 1,000 times over in this life and the next. Anybody ever gives to me, I pray that prayer every single time, 1,000 times over in this life and the next. And then also, so now I'm asking, please. So thank you, everybody who's ever given in any way, everything from prayers to financial and everything else. I ask anyone who is able to give. This is the only time. This is the last. It's crazy. Up until I think this could be the end. This could be it. Especially with the CDC announcement. This is kind of freaky. I don't know if they've ever done this internationally with this kind of a thing. But if you're able to give, I've never been up against this. Literally, I'm doing this video right now, and this is the day my rent is due. And I don't have at least 600 of it. So I'm just, Lord, what are you going to do? And he said, go ahead and ask and do a short video and share with them what's coming as soon as possible and all that stuff. And so I'm asking if you're able to give it all. I'm short. I need to pay it today. Now I could just say, hey, I could just be a jackman and go, hey, let's just see how this goes and not pay my landlord and everything like that. Even though he's been amazing to me and my family, and for a long time he didn't charge me what he could have, and then the last few years he's upped it quite a bit because he had to do it. But he went 7 years without making it what it could have been. And then now it's getting so ridiculous he had to bring it up. Went up by like $500-600 in the last couple of years. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm short basically that amount. How much has pretty much gone up. And so if you're able to give, please, I just beg you to give. You can if you feel led. I got in the description box below. I got PayPal, and you can sign up for ZellePay at zellpay.com for Zelle. It goes bank to bank or whatever. I also have a P.O. box. P.O. box is not going to help me today because I have to pay it today. But anyway, thank you if you're able to give. I really appreciate it. Please help me out. Please help me out of here. Help me out of here, please. Anyway, I can't help it. I'm very emotional today. I'm so happy, but then I'm also emotional about just that this may be it. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm more emotional about it. And what things the Lord said to me personally last night and stuff, maybe I'll share in the next video. We'll see. But He's confirmed that every single code He's given me, and I put it all together, and it's 8/19/24, and I'm just like, what? How? Wow, it's just crazy. So anyway, again, I'll leave it at that. This is Exalted Lamb 1. God bless you. Over and out.